When there's an injustice against you or someone you love or someone you believe in, stand up. Don't sit down on them, if they need you.
Welcome to Popcorn Planet's Pop Culture Justice. I'm Andy Signore. I'm here with It's Kim, and my goodness, I've been following this trial a little bit, but I see this trial is just getting crazier and crazier. For those of you who aren't familiar with the Waukesha parade attacker, Darrell Brooks is on trial. If you don't remember, he drove a car. Well, that's what he's being charged with, driving a car through the Christmas parade back in Waukesha. I'm sorry if I'm saying that terribly. But he was driving his Ford Escape through the crowd in the Christmas parade back in November 23 of last year, killing 6, injuring dozens. He's on trial for 76 criminal offenses and now faces a life sentence if convicted of six first-degree and intentional homicide counts, which is what he's charged. What's been crazy about this case is he has chosen to represent himself. Now, the closing arguments are going to begin any minute. We're going to watch with you just because I've been watching this today, actually, and I asked the chat. A lot of you guys are wanting to watch this too, so I thought let's all watch together. I may clip that portion because it's going to be a while. Before we go, I wanted to play this clip because earlier in the day, this was the wildest part of the whole thing. He got ejected from the court again after just being back let into the courtroom because what his strategy seems to be is just to delay, distract, and frustrate everybody to sort of extend and I guess attempt to get an appeal later. And so the patience of this judge, Judge Darrell, oh my God. I want you to watch this clip, guys, so you can see how sort of intense this is getting.
To reflect, we are all back in this courtroom.
Before the jury's brought out, can we address subject matter jurisdiction, Your Honor? Before
Absolutely
the jury's
not.
brought out.
Absolutely not.
Is that a tacit agreement that you don't have to answer those questions as a public servant, Your Honor? So are you going to act in dishonor?
Mr. Brooks,
Are you going to act in
I've
dishonor?
already addressed your requests.
It hasn't been proven for the record, Your Honor.
The jury is on its way,
They're not out yet, though.
but they're on the way.
You held me in contempt.
I'm not
You held me in
addressing these
contempt
matters,
before.
sir.
Have I acted in dishonor, Your Honor? You held me in contempt without me being in dishonor. How have I dishonored the court? Have I acted in dishonor? Have I raised my voice or argued with Your Honor? Have I disrupted the
Mr.
courtroom
Brooks,
in any
you're
way?
back in this courtroom at your request. The jury is coming
I
out.
never should have
Please
been.
be respectful of their time. And
I
of this
have
process
been. They weren't even
and
out
the dignity
before.
of the proceedings.
They weren't even out before when I was trying to address what needed to be
Mr.
addressed
Brooks,
before they came out.
You're just
am I
attempting
acting
to
in
disrupt
dishonor?
the proceedings.
Am I acting in dishonor? So that's a tacit
All
agreement
rise
that you
for the
don't.
jury, please.
It's a tacit agreement that you don't have to answer questions as a public servant, right?
All right, the jury.
No
is
jury's
not
out.
Mr. Brooks.
No jury's
close the
out.
door.
I was trying to
Mr.
address
Brooks,
this
they are
before they
right
came
outside
out.
this door. I am not going to do this with you this morning. You either
I'm not
abide by
doing-
these rules
Am I
and
acting in
stay
dishonor?
quiet,
Am
or
I
you will
acting
be
in
in the other
dishonor?
courtroom.
Am I acting in dishonor?
Yes, you are acting
How?
in dishonor.
How?
You are disobeying the direct order of this court to respect the decorum and the dignity of these proceedings. You are merely attempting to delay.
I don't care what you think. That's not accurate.
Mr. Brooks, I am having this jury out.
And-
And if you
and you're
say
making-
one word when that door opens,
You're making a tacit agreement.
then you will forfeit your right to be present.
So you're acting in dishonor then, Your Honor.
All right, the jury may come in.
You're acting in dishonor by making a tacit agreement that you don't have to answer any questions as a public servant. You're not holding up to your oath to protect the
All right, the
Constitution.
door is open and he's talking.
Okay, so you're going to hold me in
All right,
contempt?
the jury cannot come in. Never mind.
Are you going to hold
All
me in
right,
contempt?
Mr. Brooks is going to be removed. We're in recess until that
How
can
am
be
I, how am
accomplished.
I acting in dishonor?
Oh my God, guys, it's just been, this whole case has been nuts. He is just doing everything he can, Kim. You've seen some more clips. I know a lot of you have been watching. I'm maybe not as up to date as some of you guys, so apologies. And if someone's really an expert in this case and wants to phone in, let me know. But it's like, from the clips I've seen, that's all he's been doing. He's representing himself, which is clearly causing chaos because he's not following the protocols. And does seem like he's just trying to create chaos to either, catch something in his favor or try to just make sure he can get an appeal later. He's just throwing everything out there because, look, it seems very clear to me the dude was in the car driving these people over, and he knows his days are numbered. So, but the system gives him his chance, his day in a court, and he doesn't have counsel because I'm sure counsel would have walked at this point. He's doing it all himself. Kim, what have you been noticing as you've been watching these clips? Have you been as infuriated as I am?
Absolutely. I think it's so difficult because, I mean, to begin with, the reason that this trial is happening in the first place is absolutely tragic. There have been so many families that have just been devastated, lives that have been destroyed, people who have been horribly injured. Just, it's awful. At the end of the day, it's all just terrible. And then this whole case has been turned into an absolute circus because of Mr. Brooks. And everything that I've seen from Mr. Brooks is it seems that he is following what is called basically, like, from what I understand, is the sovereign citizen argument, which basically means that he doesn't feel that he has to abide by US law, that he doesn't recognize it, and therefore he is not accountable to it, which is very odd. Because he has no problem with throwing out, well, the judge isn't abiding by the Constitution, yet the law does not apply to him. So there's a lot of back and forth on that front. And a lot of the legal commentary I've seen is it seems like he is trying everything in his power to get a mistrial.
Yes.
Like that has been his main objective, is to get the mistrial. And it seems that the team around him will just not let that happen. And he also seems to be getting very upset that the judge is not explaining to him what he needs to do. But the judge, I honestly think at points she's given him too much. I've heard that criticism from a lot of other legal experts, that they're like, she's given him an inch and he's taken a mile, and she needs to stop.
I mean, she's being careful, right? Because she doesn't want to give him any basis for appeal. That's what you guys got to remember.
Exactly. So there's a lot of opinions on how this has all gone down. I'm sure, we could talk about all those different things for hours of that type of a discussion. But at the end of the day, Mr. Brooks has been ejected from court multiple times. At one point, I believe yesterday, he actually built a fort of boxes around himself so that he couldn't be seen because he didn't want to deal with it. There's just been so many things that have happened through this trial. I have to say, I think one of the strangest moments for me was, I believe they had one of the police officers who shot at his vehicle while he was through the parade. And so the officer was attempting to shoot him, to take him down so that he couldn't hurt anybody else. And so, of course, how interesting is it to be cross-examined by the person you were trying to shoot at? And just that type of a back and forth. There has been so much of this whole case that is absolutely bizarre. But I think it is important to remember that the reason we're here is absolutely tragic. But at the same time, if we don't laugh, we will just weep.
Yeah,
and
it's tough. I mean, here's that box fort moment, by the way.
No, I don't want to do that. Oh, you don't?
I don't. Like, it's just, this is just insane. It's just such a joke.
6. The 76 count. Just want to make. It says near Frame Park, so it is in there. But that was just one question I had.
I believe at one point yesterday, he actually took some of the jury instruction and threw it in the garbage, or threw it away because he didn't want to deal with it.
I'm just going through each one. I'm on page 50 of 107.
This poor judge.
I know.
Everything's looking great so far, though.
Okay. Fair enough. There's 107 pages. I certainly can give the parties some time to continue to read through them.
Jesus. What's he doing? Why is he hiding behind boxes? Who's he talking to back there? Look at him. Is he texting somebody? Yo, dude, what do I do next?
Kind of half expect him to pull out like a Lawyering for Dummies book.
Well, it's like, I've never seen someone look more like Lionel Hutz on The Simpsons. Your Honor.
Brooks is requesting to go back to his cell at this point. I'm going to deny that request. He can remain in the other courtroom.
Oh my! So I guess that point was kicked out again. Yeah, he's been kicked out so many times for disruption. It's just become a lab. So we have the we are wait up. We are. Did we get back? No, sorry. I had a B-roll playing. I still think we're waiting for another 10 or 15 minutes for the closing to begin. I am just curious what else is going to happen today, because today has been wild. And watching the patience of this judge, and then there was a point. I have to find the other point where he was just refusing to accept, like, she's being very careful because she's like, "Do you want to come back in?" And he's like, "Well, yeah, I want to come back in."
Right now, you'll respect the prior rulings of this court and not interrupt this next phase of the trial, which is the court reading the jury instructions without interruption from you. Can you do that?
Have I acted in dishonor, Your Honor?
Mr. Brooks, I very expressly warned you.
Have I acted in dishonor?
You have disobeyed a direct order from this court.
Have I acted in dishonor?
You have disrupted these proceedings.
I have not disrupted these proceedings.
Sir, can you pledge to me that when
God.
this jury comes back out, that you will remain silent and not reference things like subject matter jurisdiction, the court's oath of office, tacit agreements, or anything? Can you pledge that you will respect these proceedings and
He couldn't.
to do so?
And then she brought them back in, but then there was a point here while he was sitting there. I think it's here.
Trying to address what needed to be addressed
Brooks,
before they came out.
You're just
am I
attempting
acting
to
in
disrupt
dishonor?
the proceedings.
Am I acting in dishonor?
And he's doing it again. This is later. Once he had already been kicked out, he's doing
that's
it
a
again.
tacit
And
agreement
had
that
to
you
cut to
don't-
like 10
It's a
It's a
different breaks.
tacit agreement that you don't have to answer questions.
The tacit agreement. And then he's stuck in this other courtroom where he's trying to cause chaos from there.
Well, at one point yesterday, I
It is your
believe he
duty
was
to
sent to
follow
that other
all of these
courtroom, and
instructions.
he was yelling so loudly they could hear him in the main courtroom. They could hear him through the walls because he was just like screaming.
I mean, I hate to say it, but like there is a little bit of like a sick genius to it too, because he's playing the system, right? He's trying to use the flaws of the system to his advantage because he doesn't want to go to jail. And nobody really ever has the guts to try to like really do it. And the truth is, I'm sure some judges would have lost their cool by now. And it scares me because I wonder how many other criminals are going to watch this and see this and use this defense in the future to basically act crazy, create havoc, just an attempt to get a mistrial. Because if you're calm enough and you can get the judge to lose it, you know, it's kind of like the Few Good Men, right? You can't handle the truth. Goddamn right. You know, like if he can flip her out enough, all it takes is one, right? And then the whole thing falls apart. And then he gets to delay the inevitable, and it's a whole thing. Here he is, just like during the whole trial, while from the other
in
room,
the city of Waukesha,
like hiding himself
Waukesha
from
County,
camera, but
Wisconsin,
then
did
causing
recklessly endanger
chaos.
the safety of Mackenzie Hollingsworth under circumstances.
Can you imagine if we
which
did
show
that all
utter
stream?
disregard
We just
for human
hide like
life
in front of our
while using a
microphones and just wave
dangerous
our arms.
weapon.
Wait a minute,
Contrary
see,
to sections 941.30 sub 1, 939.50 sub 3 sub F, and 939.63 sub 1 sub B of the Wisconsin statutes. The 29th
Yes.
count of the information in this case charges that Darrell E. Brooks, on or about Sunday, November 21 of 2021, on Main Street in the city of Waukesha, Waukesha County, Wisconsin, did recklessly endanger the safety of Mitchell Lampine under circumstances which show utter disregard for human life, and while using a dangerous weapon, contrary to sections 941.
That's what he's doing.
Sub 1,
Yep.
939.50 sub 3 sub F, and 939.
So anyway, he's been doing this all day. We're waiting to see. There was another moment where here he was trying to like get her attention because he wanted to be back in the courtroom to cause more havoc.
Charges that Darrell E. Brooks, on or about Sunday, November 21 of 2021, on Main
Like
Street
play some rock music.
in the city of
Rock and
Waukesha,
rock and
Waukesha
roll,
County,
do
Wisconsin,
ya?
did recklessly endanger the safety of Lola Hospital
Da, da,
under circumstances
da,
which show utter disregard.
And I think the other thing too, if I could just say, guys, because I see a lot of people in chat being like, he's obviously mentally ill and he needs help, except he was evaluated and found competent to stand trial and to represent himself. So some of this is him just choosing to be this way, which
I'm
is
so
part
sick
of
of
why
that
there just
excuse.
isn't a huge amount of sympathy for him at this point.
No more sympathy.
And it's also things like with his defense.
This is not mental illness. This is a guy who wants to cause crazy
chaos.
chaos.
Yeah. And there was one of his witnesses that he wanted to call for the defense was his mother, and kept going on that basically that she would obey him and come in and be a witness, except she didn't show up. Like, this is the way this whole thing is gone. It's just absolutely crazy.
Yeah,
Oh,
there was
apparently, Andy, you want to check the stream?
We're live? Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
We're back. And it's live. Closing
Yeah.
arguments.
He's just very still.
Something happens. We're going to watch these closing arguments. This may get clipped for our members only. I may trim portions that are interesting in, but there you got sort of an update on what's happening with Darrell Brooks. They're muted currently. I guess they're bringing something's happening. We'll wait till the jury's in. But if you'd like to watch the full one and you missed it live, come join us by becoming a member. Hit that join button today. Pick a tier, and you'll be able to watch the whole show. All the episodes that we do. So thanks. We're here every day talking about pop culture and other things like this. All right, here we go.
Regarding my prior rulings or decisions that you disagree with.
Your Honor,
you will have an opportunity, if convicted, to raise every issue you want on appeal.
I'm going to inform the jury of the truth, their duties, and their rights, as I have the right to do under the First Amendment and under the Sixth Amendment. You can't just disregard the United States Constitution. You can't do that. Again, any law repugnant of the United States Constitution is null and
He's
void.
like the expert.
How can you be
There's
like,
no
the
state
law
law
doesn't
that you
apply
can
to
cite.
me,
There's
but
no
you can't
federal
do
law
this
that
under
you
the
can
law?
cite that overrides the United
I
States
don't understand this
Constitution.
logic.
You
Mr.
know
Brooks, I
this.
direct your attention to State versus Anthony. Although that case dealt with the right to testify.
Okay, so
its
we're not talking
reasoning
about
is
the right to
equally
testify.
applicable.
We're talking about the closing arguments, correct? We're not talking about testifying, which you
Mr.
already
Brooks,
made a
I'm not
ruling
going
on.
to delay
You
any
already
further
made a
the
ruling
closing
on.
arguments
But
of
Your
the
Honor,
parties.
with all due
I will
respect,
address your further request
with all due
once the
respect,
state.
you already made a ruling about testifying. Did you or did you not?
Mr. Brooks.
So we're talking about closing arguments that I said it's my right to be able to inform the jury of the truth, their duties, and their rights. That is my constitutional right.
Mr. Brooks,
you
we
can't
are at the stage
tell
of
me
the
I
proceedings
can't.
where
But
it
the
is
Constitution
state's,
doesn't apply to you if you are
burden
a
of proof
sovereign
where they get to
citizen.
make
Am
the
I getting
closing
this wrong?
argument.
We're talking
Chad?
about me though.
I understand that, sir, but
I'm going to inform them of the
your
truth.
conduct right now is delaying
I'm not intending
the court's
to delay
intention
anything.
of moving
I'll let
forward
you,
with
Your
the
Honor.
closing
No,
argument.
I
you're not
just sat there and
attempting.
let
You
you make
are,
the record.
hon. You are.
I didn't overtalk you or interrupt you. I let you say what you wanted to say. I let you make the record. I didn't interrupt you not one time.
No, but sir, you're attempting to disrupt the proceedings by
I'm
going
not
off on a
attempting to
tangent
disrupt
into
anything.
all of these other issues.
How-
From my
how am I-
perspective, that is in an
How am I
attempt
being dishonored?
to simply
How am I being
delay
in
what we're
dishonor?
doing.
How am
So
I being
you are
in
put
dishonor?
on notice. I am done dealing
How
with
am I
these
being in dishonor,
issues.
Your Honor? How am I being
Well,
in
shut
dishonor
up.
of the court?
Mr. Brooks,
She gave a ruling
I've
and you
made my
refused to accept it.
determination.
And have
I'm
I not
going to
preserved my
address
rights?
Appeal,
this
that's how it
further.
works.
Have I
dude.
not preserved my rights?
If you insist on interrupting the court and disrupting the flow of these proceedings by a blatant disregard for the parameters that I've set up, you will forfeit your right to be present in this courtroom and potentially forfeit your right to present a closing argument.
Under what lawful law can you do that?
Sir,
What is
I've
lawful
made
law?
my
You can hold me in
determination.
contempt by
do you
Illinois
do?
versus Allen. You can do that. You've stated that numerous times.
Mr. Brooks, I want you here for the closing arguments.
Apparently
but
you
do
don't.
not want
Apparently
to
you
follow
don't,
the
Your Honor,
rules.
because all I said was it is my right under the First Amendment and the Sixth Amendment to inform the jury of the truth, their rights, and their duties. I never once said anything about, I'm going to bring up subject matter, or I'm going to bring
You're
up
right,
this,
sir,
or
and
I'm
I
going to
will
bring
wait
up
and
that.
see what you have to say. But I thought it prudent, given your conduct to date and your insistence on bringing up issues that have no bearing in this case.
This is a new
They're not
day, though, Your
relevant.
Honor. This
They're
is a
not-
whole new day.
That it was prudent on my part to give you some guidance before you potentially do that in front of the jury. But
Okay,
you're right.
but-
I will wait and see.
Your Honor, it's still...
But I need to get going.
It's still
and I'm going to,
unconstitutional for you to
sir.
tell
So
me that
you
I don't
need to
have
be
the First
quiet.
Amendment right that I preserved, or
He
the
doesn't
Sixth
just
Mr.
Amendment
Brooks,
right
I'm
that I
going to have
preserved.
the jury brought out. I expect that you will be respectful, courteous, and quiet.
Or I'll be
And
held
when
in
this door
contempt.
opens,
Or I'll be held in
if
contempt.
you insist on making remarks then I will excuse everyone from this courtroom and you will be removed because you will forfeit your right to be present for being disruptive.
Under what lawful law?
That
Because
is
I
my-
haven't been
Lawful law does
dishonorable
not
to the court.
exist.
Madam Clerk, please have the jury brought out.
Well, take me to the next courtroom then. Take me to the next courtroom because you're
Fine.
not going to override my constitutional rights just
Fine.
because you feel like you can and you don't have no lawful law to do that. We all have constitutional rights and you cannot trample
Mr.
on
Brooks,
those.
what you are raising are essentially issues that you can raise on appeal.
No, I'm raising them now because they need to be on the record now. Because you won't allow me to make the
Doesn't work
record
that way.
as I've let you do. You've even went so far as to mute
Mr.
me,
Brooks, the
which you
jury
can't
is
even.
coming
There's no
out.
lawful law to say that you
I'm
can even
advising
mute
you
me.
to be
There definitely
quiet.
is
They're
not a
coming
Your
lawful
Honor,
law that says
does
that you can
Illinois
mute.
versus Allen say that you can utilize the mute button? It does not.
Mr. Brooks,
So
when
you're-
the door
you're-
opens, I expect you to be quiet.
You're,
you will
you're,
forfeit
and I
your
expect
right
for
to be
you to,
present.
I expect for you to answer questions as a public servant, Your Honor.
If she lets the
You're a
jury
public
hear this,
servant.
Jury's
is
coming
that
You're
in.
supposed to serve the people.
All right.
Take me to the next courtroom, please. Take me to the next
Oh
courtroom.
my gosh.
Hold me in contempt. Hold me in contempt. Hold me in contempt. Hold me in contempt. I have constitutional rights that are being trampled on, and you're
Did she just
coming up
leave?
with ways to make a lawful law where it doesn't
she
say
just
in
leave?
Illinois versus Allen anywhere about utilizing the
Records
mute button.
reflect that the jury bailiff is in here. However, the jury is still in the hallway. I'm going to give Mr. Brooks one more opportunity to be respectful of the court's rulings,
Your
whether
Honor,
he
I
agrees
haven't-
with them
I
or
haven't
not.
dishonored the court. I'm merely exercising my rights under the Constitution.
No, you don't
under
get
the
to just
First
say whatever
Amendment,
you want while the
under
jury's
Sixth
present.
Amendment.
Mr. Brooks, your rights do not include you disrupting these proceedings
I'm not,
the way
I'm
that
not
you have
disrupting
through
the
the course
proceeding.
of
You just
3
told me
weeks.
you don't have to honor my constitutional rights in so many words. You're using a mute button
Mr.
that's
Brooks,
not
the
even in your
jury is
decision.
outside this door. They're not brought in
I'm
yet.
informed that
I'm
the jury.
asking
I'm informed
you
that the jury
to
is
be
outside the
respectful
door.
of their time.
They're not in the courtroom.
I'm
They're not
asking you
present.
to be respectful of the court's ruling,
They're
whether
not
you
present.
agree with
These
it
are
or
issues
not.
that need to be resolved before they're present.
Mr. Brooks, they will not be resolved to your satisfaction.
It's not about my
The record
satisfaction. It's
has
about the
been made.
Constitution. It's about what's right.
Are you going to
Are you
follow
going to
the
answer
court's
questions as a public
requirement?
servant on why you're making up laws that are not in the
It is not
Illinois
lawfully
versus
lawful?
Allen? It never utilized the
the
mute
jury
button. It
is
never
back
said
to the
anything
jury.
about a mute button.
It is clear
Why
that
am I
Mr.
being-
Brooks
There's
has
no mute
absolutely
button.
no
Love
intention
me,
of
love
following the
him.
simple rules of decorum and courtesy. He has repeatedly talked over me. He's repeatedly interrupted. Even though I've made rulings, he's not respectful of the fact that I made a ruling, even though he disagrees with it.
How can you
I
make
attempted
it-
to bring the jury out,
How can you
and
utilize a mute
he
button?
continued to talk.
That's
So, Mr. Brooks, you
Your
have
Honor,
forfeited your right to
is
be
that-
present for the state's
is that
closing
not?
argument.
Bye.
Your Honor,
You will
can
be
you answer
taken
this
to the
question?
courtroom next
As a
door, and I
public
will
servant-
invite you back over when it's time for your
You can't
closing
invite me
arguments.
back over. I can reclaim my right. So how can you invite me
All
to
right,
do
the
anything?
courtroom is to be cleared so that Mr. Brooks can be removed to the next courtroom, and I'll make appropriate findings when he's in the other
Yeah,
courtroom when I can
and
do
you'll
so
mute me, which you
without
can't lawfully do.
interruption.
You can't lawfully mute me. So now you're trampling over my First Amendment right.
Jesus Christ. There you go. Thanks to everybody who tuned in. That was a wild. We watched the whole thing. If you want to watch the whole closing argument, I don't know if you really want to, but if you do, like I said, hit that join button, become a member, or at least make sure you're subscribed. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for alerts so you get notified when we're live, but hit that join next to it, and you'll be able to catch the replays of the members-only feed. It was a long one. Kim, Lauren, thank you for being here. Liz M, Lewis, Miranda who called in, everybody who was in here. Appreciate you guys so much for watching with us. What a wild day. We'll be back tomorrow with more breaking news. And yeah, still proud of wearing my Adidas shirt. Sorry, Kanye. Maybe you should just take back that terrible stuff you said. But we'll see you guys tomorrow on the show. In the meanwhile, going over to Louis Lecca at Nerd Report. He's streaming as well. We're going to redirect over there. Or click on these videos when YouTube decides to put some on there. Love you guys. See you soon. We'll be in Vegas soon in a week. Oh my God. Bye, everybody.